Thank you for using Flourish from CreateAbility Concepts. This video will provide an overview of the web-based Flourish administration tools that you would use to create and maintain a person-centered plan for an individual. To access the administration tools, you will need to log in to the CreateAbility web portal at girder.beam.care. Once logged in, you will see a view similar to this one. In the center of the page, under the Systems header, you will see a list of individuals. Simply tap on the individual that you would like to create a person-centered plan for. This will display the user's dashboard. On the left side of the page, tap on Flourish Manager to create or edit their plan. For new Flourish users, you will see a screen similar to this one. The Flourish login ID in the center of the page is what you will provide to that user once you have created their plan. This is the ID they will need to enter when logging into the mobile application. Tap on Create Plan to get started. Each section of the person-centered plan will have an instruction card that explains the purpose of that section as well as examples for that section. Tap on the Info button next to a section to see detailed instructions. Before you create a user's Flourish plan, there are some important points to note. Number 1. Before the Flourish plan is considered complete, each section will require a minimum of one statement, but 3 or more are recommended. Number 2. It is highly recommended that you add photos to each section as strong reinforcement for the statements and the theme for that section. Number 3. A user photo is required for the Being Grateful section before the plan is considered complete. And number 4. It is highly recommended that the statements you create for each of these sections is worded from the perspective of the user. An example would be, "I am proud of how fast I can run," versus wording the statement like, "Fred is proud of how fast he can run." These statements will be visible to the user in the mobile app and are designed to reinforce their plan to them. Each of these sections has a similar approach to adding statements and photographs, but the Being Grateful section is a bit unique. First of all, this section can be considered the home page inside of the mobile app. This is usually the first page the user sees when logging into the app and the page that contains the user photo. To add the user's photo to their plan, tap on the Choose File button under the Profile Picture heading, then tap Upload when you've chosen a picture. To add statements to this section, simply enter the statement into the text field. Tap the Add Another Statement button in this section to create an additional statement. Remember that you need a minimum of one statement per section for a complete Flourish plan. If you need tips for appropriate statements, don't forget to reference help by tapping the Info button for this section. Once you've created at least one statement, tap the Choose File button under the Photos header to add reinforcement images to this section. This is completely optional, but highly recommended to providing a complete experience for the user. Once you're done with the Being Grateful section, keep repeating these steps to complete the next 8 sections of the user's plan. When you've finished adding everything for these sections, tap on the purple Continue to Developing Goals button at the bottom of the page. Just like the previous page, there are several info buttons on the Goals page that will help explain each section and give some tips for appropriate statements and pictures to add. It's important to note that the Goals section data is very different than the previous sections of the Flourish plan. There are 4 types of goals you can enter for each user: near-term goals, mid-term, long-term, and goals recommended by others. Every goal you enter, no matter what type of goal it is, will be visible to the user inside of the mobile application. In addition to this, you can add photos for each goal section to reinforce those goals. Just like the Statements section, you will need to add at least one goal per section, but 3 or more are recommended. In addition to creating text to describe the goal, some goal sections will allow you to add a date range for each goal. This is purely for your reference and can be used when consulting with the user about their plan. A unique feature that is specific to the near-term goals and other goals sections is that you can also add objectives to the goals, and you can add specific tasks to each of these objectives. Understanding the difference between goal objectives and objective tasks is very important. Goal objectives are designed for your reference. and should be worded in a way that is important to staff members. These are not visible to the user. An example would be, Fred needs to start being more social. Objective tasks are items that you feel the user needs to accomplish to achieve this goal objective. These tasks are visible to the user and can be checked off a list. This means that they should be worded in such a way that makes sense to the user. Examples might include, call James and ask if he wants to hang out and play Xbox. Or, go to the company picnic this Saturday. Dates can be added for each objective task, and that task will be visible to the user only for the date range you pick. Once the task expires, it will disappear from the app. Also, you have an option of selecting this is a daily task or this is a single task. If it is a single task, it will disappear from the app once the user checks it off. If you designate it as a daily task, it will reappear every day until the end of the date range, even if the user checks it off the list. One final note about the goal objectives. Only staff members can mark an objective as completed. This is achieved by clicking the red check mark next to the goal objective. Once you've completed all of the user's goals and optional objectives and tasks, tap the Finish button at the bottom of the page. Their plan is now complete. You can go to the Flourish Manager homepage or return to editing their plan. The Flourish Manager homepage looks similar to this once the plan has been completed. The large purple buttons will let you return to editing their goals or their statements. Or you can view all of the user's completed objectives or tasks that have been checked off of their list. Also on this page, you can quickly see any objective tasks that they have assigned to them. You can check these off for the user if you like, or just allow the user to do so in the app. Additional usage information, such as the time the user logged in last or the number of times they interacted with Flourish, can also be viewed from the Flourish Manager homepage. Thank you very much for your interest in Flourish. If you have any questions or need support, please contact CreateAbility at support@createabilityinc.com.